Bam.
Bam, 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 bam. What's going on, guys? What's going on?
What's
Got
happening?
us here early, baby. The Leap and Ash together as a whole. You got everybody here today on a Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do that quick intro since it was a quick intro. On the top left is the one finger pepper sensation as always. JJ, aka Cigar Mud. What up, Mud?
Hey, how you guys doing?
On the top right, you got no other than the bouginess of all bouginess himself, Cigar Don. What up, Don boy?
What's happening? Happy Sunday.
And on the bottom right, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only coming out of Georgia, PCAKA Silverback.
What's up to you, man? What's happening, people?
What's going on? And as of course, guys, you know who I be. I am Panda Baby. Let's go for Sunday. This is Sunday. We just figured we just chop it up. We got only an hour to kill. So we figured let's just get on live and see what we could do. Crack a lack and kind of give you guys a heads up of what's coming on this week, who we have as a special guest on Wednesday. But before we get to that, what are you guys drinking? What are you guys smoking? JJ.
I am smoking for the first time the Mayflower Dusk.
Okay.
You know, the first half inch or whatever, it's pretty tasty. That Sumatra binder in there definitely threw me through a world because I typically don't smoke a lot of Sumatra. I like it, but and I'm drinking some sweet tea.
Sweet tea. All right. All right. And bouginess, what do you smoke, you bougie Don?
I am smoking the Liga Privada 9 Flying Pig, courtesy of the Panda Baby. You know who he be.
Yeah, that's the one that you got out of the locker in the zero. I'm probably Joe.
Yeah.
So that stick, guys, have been marinated since like 2022, 21, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know who I be. Yeah. What up, Randall? And PC, what are you smoking on?
I gotta say, baby, I'm smoking
Reflection?
Aganosa. That's right. Look at you trying to play the rare leaf, baby, by Aganosa.
That's it. What are you pairing that up with today? In the dick, it's hot as heck.
I'm hot as heck, man. I'm gonna be hydrating. I just stuck a case of water in the freezer.
All right. So I'm smoking something new to me. This is the third stick of their core line that I've smoked.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm about to smoke. This is by Honeybee, the Crimson Trouble in English, Limited, which is a beautiful barber pole. Got some candela in it. It looks like Habano and Maduro. We'll find out. But I can tell you, even on the dry pull and right now on the first pull,
Mm-hmm.
green tea immediately.
That is going to be
immediately.
Complex.
But I've had the Monarch and the King. I forgot what King saw. I forgot what this King something. I can't
King
think of
Reserve. The King's
King
Reserve.
Reserve.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love the King Reserve. And I can tell I'm probably going to enjoy this one just as well. Even though he has that candela, I'm hoping that Bryce. Yeah, I hope Bryce. Bryce is kind of, with his Silent Hero Candela has changed my mind. Let's see what happens with Honeybee. And your boy Panda is just hydrated with some none other than H2O.
So, I'm gonna get some of these out to you guys. So I want all of us to smoke this at the same time.
Okay.
The Founder's Candela,
Mm-hmm.
and see what it's about.
Let's do it. I'm down. We can definitely do it.
We get a chance.
We were talking about it earlier, man, and it seems that it's in every state, right? South Florida, Georgia, Texas, and Okie. And it's just been hot as heck,
Yes.
and it's not even enjoyable, right? To even go outside you got to literally wait until the sun goes down to do anything, man. Or now it's just sun is just brutal. You need a spatula to peel your boys off your thighs. You know what I mean? I'm just, it's crazy, man. And then JJ, you showed us a picture of how you looked the other day. And how hot was it over there in Oklahoma?
It's like about 105.
Nah.
And when
Is that all?
And luckily, we go in at 6 and we get off at 2:30 to try to beat the heat, but it's still hot. It's still very hot.
It's just hot.
I mean, by 10 in the morning, when I've already sweat through my jeans and my shirt, that's a bad day.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, even here in South Florida, man, it's hot, man. I mean, it's just unbearable. It's unenjoyable. You know, and
Downright unconstitutional.
was that?
I said it's damn near unconstitutional.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna describe it like my grandkids describe it. Grandpa, that heat is just disrespectful.
Yeah, you better put some respect on my name, Heat.
That's right, for real. Yeah, and it's crazy because it's like I last year was hot. You know, last year was hot before this summer's no joke, man.
Hey, but you want to hear something funny though?
Was
We
that?
just had it as hot as it is. We just had a 30-second shower that poured down, and now it's just steaming out here.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's gonna be steamy now.
That's that bipolar Florida weather down here, man. You know, last weekend, you know, I was at the TPA, you know, with these guys and with Randy Ish and Hayes Gray and you know, Family by Loyalty. And the Clowns were there. GTO was there. There was a handful of guys there. And let me tell you, Home Depot made out like bandits because all these guys had their portable ACs, boy. Let me tell you, you know, their fans at least, you know. But
Yeah.
it was just, and then I left. It's crazy because I left around 3:30 because I had to drop something off down south. And when I was driving south, it poured. I didn't think it was gonna make it to them, but apparently it made it up to these guys, and everybody was like running all over to make sure they got their cigars inside before they all got ruined. But this summer's just been nasty, man, and it's just even at nighttime, you know, you get like a very very small breeze, but even that breeze wants to smack you in the you know in today's Sunday, so in between the legs, you know what I'm saying? It's just like I said, it's just not fun. It's not, you know, this is when I really wish I had a pool. You know what I mean? And you know, the missus and I were talking about that, and I'm like, you know what? If we end up staying, if the plan that doesn't happen in front of the house that they're talking about, we're gonna invest. We're about to do an above ground pool. You know what I mean? Because and I'll do like actually, you know, we've been to Randy's house. Randy has a nice above ground pool with a nice deck around it, and just built a deck on it. You know, and listen, I don't have to be in it every day, but there's days like this, I definitely want to be in it.
Yep.
You know, it's just.
But it reminds me of, you know, how, you know, with the heat being disrespectful, how did we do it as kids?
Oh,
And we played in it all day, every day. The only thing we needed was a water hose.
Does it a fire hydrant?
That,
We'll crack open a fire hydrant and just cool ourselves off and just have a blast, you know. But you're right, man. You know what it is? Sometimes, like, you know, these kids, they bless just for being naive because they're just so caught up in the moment. You know what I mean? They're just enjoying their times with their friends or family members that they don't even realize. They know it's hot, obviously, you know what I mean? But they're not in tune as we are now, the older we get, you know?
A couple years ago, I got my son a new BMX bike, and I thought, you know, I'm going to get on this son of a gun and ride around for a few minutes.
No chance.
I probably rode 100,000 miles on my bike as a kid. I was on this thing for 5 minutes, and I thought I probably can.
Yeah,
dude, big dude is going down. I don't know how I ever did it.
Yeah, dude, we should put a board and jump over the big long ass pile of trash bags full of building. We would just, that's what happens when you live in the ghetto, baby. You know, but we may do. You know, we may do what we had, and we have fun, and you know, we could talk about it now. But it's like, you know, we've had that conversation, right? That these kids, they're a lot more inside than they are outside, you know?
right.
And we're partially to blame. I won't say partially, but we are to blame. But also at the same token, it's a different world now. It's a different different world right now. It really is. It's like, who do you trust? Like back in the day, your neighbors, you could trust your neighbors to watch your kids. And, if you were getting out of line, they're going to tune your butt up just the same. And when you got home, when your mom and dad find out, you would get tuned up again.
Oh,
So, yeah, I mean, it's just absolutely, it's a different world now, man. But these kids, man, they glued onto their phones, glued onto their game consoles, and they just don't know that life of just going outside and riding your bike around the neighborhood,
Right.
No.
Without some parent being a helicopter parent and just hovering over them. I heard somebody say something about Gen X's that we're free.
No, man, you cut out there, BC. Can't hear you, buddy. Oh man, BC, we didn't hear. Did you guys hear him?
I didn't hear him. No.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Like your mic is cut
Can
off.
you hear me now?
Yeah. Now, what was it that you said that you
Yeah, the wife pulling up in my truck. I said, I was listening to somebody talk about Gen Xers, man. They were saying that we were free range kids. We ran around the neighborhood like chickens. So we didn't have nothing to. There was no limits to where we would go and how we would get there.
No. As long as you got home before what?
Street lights came on, baby.
Street lights came on. And that's it.
Yep.
And that's why, our Generation X, man, I mean, we are definitely a different breed. No, it's definitely a whole different world now, we definitely grew up with that thick skin. You had no choice but to have thick skin, because if not, you couldn't hang with the group.
I'm a millennial by age, but I'm not a millennial in my soul. And I've heard that. I've heard a lot in my time that I'm an old soul.
You are no soul.
I always say, don't you call me no damn millennial. They do it at work. He's like, these damn millennials. I said, I am by age, but I'm not a millennial.
Hey, we got to come up with a name for you, Millennial X.
Millennial X.
Hell yeah.
So guys, we got a quite an interesting week this week, right? We have a special guest coming on Wednesday. All right, we have no other than Ruben, Pedro Ramos, and Val from Hayes Gray.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to chopping it up with them. So I don't know. So I had the missus put your cigars separately. I don't know who got what. So I know two of y'all got the same stick. I don't know how that came about, but what did you get on Don?
I got the Patriot.
Okay, so then I already know what the other two got.
Yeah.
What you get, PC?
I just left it in the pack and put it inside the humidor. I didn't even look at it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you're gonna get the Brotherhood.
The Brotherhood, okay.
The Brotherhood. And I'm trying to think. I don't know which one I got. So if you guys got the Brotherhood, I'm trying to think which one I got. Well, I've smoked the Patriot and I've smoked the Brotherhood. I'm not going to tell you guys my opinion on it because I want to hear it first, what you guys think of it. I think you guys are definitely going to like the blends. I'll tell you that much based on, me knowing you guys. I think that these guys got themselves a good product, so, and I don't want to share too much what has already been shared with me, but I'll let Rue and Pedro talk about it when we have them on Wednesday. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. Just to chop it up, I got to meet them all, during the TPA. What's going on, Crespin? Yes. Tell them, Crespin, hit that like and subscribe button.
Dude, I love their bands. That dog tag, that is sick.
Yeah. I like it. But do you see their logo, their slogan? We got your sticks.
Dude.
Right.
They're veteran owned, so by all means, man, definitely, we're all about that support. there's a couple of other people that I definitely want us to get on. And my hair. No, that was it. Okay, here we go. That one. That's the one. There you go, Crutchman. I know you were looking for that. So yeah. So I mean, I'm looking forward to talking to Rue, and we kind of started busting each other's chops because they're originally, I found out originally from Boston. Because being from New York, is it natural? Even though neither one of them sound like they're from Boston, which was kind of funny to me when I found out they were from Boston. But yeah, and Ruth's wife Val, she's a sweetheart, man. I can't wait for us to have them on Wednesday, and I'll definitely reach out to them again tomorrow to make sure everything's still on schedule and everything's on point. And JJ, did I send you their link or their info? For you to send them the link?
Not yet.
We'll get it.
Yeah, we'll get it.
So Panda, talk a little bit, because it's kind of new to the other three of us. Talk a little bit about the TPA. What is the TPA? What is it? What are they? I know you went to an event, and I know we're members now, and it's fairly new to us. So talk about it a little bit. What is it? What are they about?
Well, so Tobacco Product Association, right? They've been around for a long time. The problem is, well, I don't say the problem is, they're really huge in the tobacco pipe side of it.
Okay.
My understanding, and I think Ronnie is probably the one that I spoke to. We're gonna be doing a collab with them as well, so he could kind of give us a little bit more insight, and Ish as well, and so that. These guys went to Chicago, and the amount of pipes of tobacco smokers was ridiculous. I mean, I think he said he rented a 30 by 60 enclosed tent.
Oh wow!
And it was packed. And like I said, my understanding was that they started both pipe and cigars together, but it just seemed that the cigar side fell at the wayside. You know what I mean? That's my understanding. I might be wrong. Randy, we still on? Maybe you might want to chime in on that. So, it's to me, they seem to be very close niche with a lot of boutique, brands, and they're all about supporting boutique. And they look. It's obviously going to be a smaller venue, until it starts growing. And I think that they have the right ideas, and they definitely have the drive, and they definitely have the know-how because of the pipe side, right? Because the pipe side, they don't need any more help with that side. It's not just the cigar side, right? I think that they could fill up that 30 by 60 easy with cigars. If I think with enough notice down the road, and also timing, right? Because you don't want nothing that's gonna kind of be in the middle of another well-known event, maybe like the Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest or the Great Smoke or the one in Texas and Georgia. So it's a lot of strategically planning these events so that you could get these people to come. You know what I mean? But like I said, I'll reach out to him and see when he could come on, so we could just chop it up, so he could, and have Ish, have on, because I know he's on, and her name just slipped my mind, who's all on the board as well. But I'll make sure I get all the names right, so we could get them on, so they could kind of give us a little bit more insight of what's their future goal with TPA, stuff like that. I know that they were talking about certain things that I won't disclose because I feel it's not my place to disclose. But they talked about a venue near one of the other vendors that someone tried it over there, and it seemed that they had a good plan, right? But I guess it wasn't executed properly. There was certain things, but it was also the first one. And you guys know how it is, right? The first one's always kind of hit and miss. You're not going to get everything perfect, but you kind of hope that it was good enough for people to return. That's what you want. That's all you want. You want that first impression to be like, okay, yeah, they didn't get to do this or that, but it was good enough, and the price that I paid for admission was good enough for me to just do it again, just to try to see what they do next year. And I
Nice.
think TPA
Right.
is coming in that venue with the cigar side of it. So I definitely want to get a hold of Ronnie and make sure that they're what day suits them. You know what I mean? So we could get them all on board. And, it'll probably be 7 of us, on this, so that we could get everybody. It kind of get their like where do they foresee themselves, or where us as media, because we are part of the TPA on the media. So we joined was last month. So
It seems to me like our goals kind of align with them, with the promoting boutique and promoting cigar smoking in general, the love that we all have for it, and we all, the camaraderie and all that kind of stuff that we get from it. It seems like the goals kind of align there.
Yeah, and it's not costly, right? Because and it's like I don't want to step out as far as pricing goes, because I know what we paid for media to partake in media, but
Right.
I know that they want boutique companies to join. Anyone that's a member of the TPA, my understanding is that even lounges could become part of the TPA, and there's an annual membership, and that annual membership starts, the 365 starts the day of sign up.
Oh no!
So,
Wow.
yeah. So if it's like today, July 20th, you sign up today, it's good until July 20th, 2026. They're going to be sending out, I believe, digital membership information. So anyone that's part of the TPA and shows that membership to another person that partakes,
Mhm.
whether it's a lounge or an event or whatever, I believe the agreement is 10% off of whatever purchase.
Okay.
So, but think about it, right? For us, you get to go on their website, so they can kind of see who you are. Link. I don't know if there's a link that you click. Let's say on us in the Leap and Ask, right? If you could click and it goes to us, that would be pretty cool. If they don't, right? That would be pretty badass. So people could go and check us out and check out the other podcasts, like the Cigar Dudes podcast and the other, so. So to me, I think there's a lot of perks, especially for the price, because I don't think they're that expensive, even as a boutique company to be part of it, or even a retailer. I think that what's good about the retailer is that they put you on their website. So if anybody's in South Florida, right, they could go, okay, what locker, or what retailer is part of the TPA, and I would assume that they will have a list. If not, it'd be something that could be suggested that, go state to state and have it divided up so they could go and click on that state. Right. I mean, obviously it's easier for me to say that as opposed to someone programming it. You know what I mean? But I agree with you, Don. I think that, that was one of the main reasons why I'm like, yeah, we definitely got to jump on board, especially in the early stages of this, because I think they're definitely on the same page as we are. And the people that I got to meet last weekend were absolutely beautiful individuals, man, that I really got to really enjoy the conversations were great, because you could see that, like I was talking to Ron, we spoke for hours, and Rube, and they all seem to have the same mindset, you know what I mean? And they kind of see the same things that we see. Listen, there's a movement coming on, whether these legacy cigar companies want to acknowledge it or not, pretend it's not happening. The boutique boom is coming.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't think it's here yet, but that ball is slowly rolling. You know what I mean? I really believe that, and it's gonna be a matter of time that people are gonna be like, you know what? Hell, look at perfect example, JJ. You repping out for 2 different companies, and you had that one company, that the most expensive stick is what, $10.50?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So think about that, right? You spend $10 on a cigar. Where can you buy a cigar for $10? I mean, unless you're going super, super ultra boutique and it's one of those short fills, and you're not getting a better quality cigar. So I think us joining the TPA, I think is a good thing for us as a whole, because I think it's a movement that we can stand by and we all believe in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like this Mayflower. It's the first time I've ever smoked this cigar, and it's so far. I mean, I'm smoking it. This was a Toro,
Right.
and it's a damn good cigar.
Well, see, that's one of the sticks that we picked up when we all were in Florida for the Great Smoke, and I smoked mine way before you smoked yours, and I thought it was a great smoke.
Yeah,
Now here's the thing that I'm seeing about that, legacy versus boutique. I'm going to a lot of my local, brick and mortars, and I'm noticing that the price is up on some of the legacies, and where the boutiques, they have not raised the price on some of them. And for one, like royalty cigars, with Larry, his sticks, the price hadn't changed. I probably can go in there and buy a box of his sticks easily, for almost just a little over $100 for 10 sticks. But and quite naturally, I would love to have a box of the legacies, but it's going to be that percentage that is jumped, because of the tariffs and whatnot. So,
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, right? Because I mean, listen, at the end of the day, we all trying to watch our wallets, right?
mhm.
And we're trying to get more bang for our buck. That's what it boils down to. But I think the hard part is how do you get more bang for your buck plus quality,
Mm.
right? Because that's the tricky part to me. The tricky part is, yeah, you could go and get yourself $8, $9, $10, even a $12 cigar, and is it worth it? Is okay, yeah, I saved some money instead of buying my ultra, legacy, but is it worth it, or should I just spend an extra $2 and got what I know I'm gonna enjoy? You know what I mean? So does the hype meet the expectation plus the price?
Right.
It's a lot of levels, man. It really is. And I think it's all subjective. I think it's all what you as a consumer are willing to pay, and the hardest part right now, I think right now, in my opinion, for boutique is how do you get a reasonable price point so that when Keystone gets implemented, right, that it doesn't really affect the consumer and they're gonna want to go back to your product. So how do you
Right.
not undercut yourself and your quality with your cigars just because you're trying to get more out there, So
it's
a
kind of like
balance.
that rant I had the other day. It's like when you do your initial order, you already have the box. From this point on, if I owned a company, I'm just going to send you a bundle, and I want you to refill this box. I'm not going to send you a box every time you order cigars. I think that's a way you can cut down costs. I mean,
But we see that when you order online, like if you go on some of these websites, you say I'm gonna order 20 sticks, but they don't come in the box. They actually come in, cellophane in a bottle. So they're saving money by not sending you the box versus, that's one way of saving money at the same time.
and I save a lot of boxes, but I've thrown a lot away.
So
I mean,
the other thing that we haven't mentioned is, and I think we've mentioned it before, is almost every boutique cigar brand owner we've talked to has said these words: "If you don't like my cigar, tell me why."
right.
And those guys can make changes if enough people don't like a cigar for a certain reason. They can make changes. Where if you tell some of these big legacy cigars, "Hey, I didn't like your cigar," oh great, the 20 other people are going to like it. So, and these boutique owners can change a little bit and come up with the blend that Look, I think if I started a cigar company tomorrow, at some point I want to be Drew Estate or Padron or I want to be able to be at that level, but I also want to have a product that people enjoy. So,
Right.
Well, here's another thing that, and once again, we shop with the eyes, right? And everybody loves the boxes, right? Because you know what? Let's say boxes, the design of a box, it gravitates to your eye and you want to buy it. Sometimes it's because of the box, right? Because this certain box, I'm like, damn, I like that box just to hang up because that's gonna be one that I'm gonna hang up eventually down the road, etc. Shit, exactly. Look at this. Look at that wall. It keeps growing.
Hey, Hey, but you talk about the boxes. It has more significance than what you think because I took the wife out. She bought a box of sticks. She was like, you know what? I saw something that really appealed to me. I want to take the cigar box and turn it into a planter where I can plant a flower or something in the box. I was like, wow, that's different. And
Yeah.
especially from, a female's point of view, she could take that box and do a whole lot with it if
Oh,
she's creative in that way.
oh. Listen, I've seen those boxes be converted to purses.
Yeah.
I've seen boxes converted to lamps. You know,
Hmm.
but going back to the boxes and cello, right? Here's a question I pose to you guys, right? Do you think that a consumer, as a consumer, would you be would you be more likely to buy something out of a box as opposed to just seeing it in a bundle and cello?
Hmm.
I think there's something to that. I think there is something to that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
right.
if I've never tried this cigar before, I think the box is going to speak to me more than the bundle.
Yeah. And somebody going at it. Who's that? Did you beat me? No. No, you going that. So, and I think right, especially if you're a new boutique company, right? It's hard for you to have that extra expense,
Hmm.
right? It really is. So, so what's the alternative, right? If you don't go box and you go cello, and consumers are more gravitated to how the box looks and designs and stuff like that. How do you make your cigar more appealing in a bundle, right? Because
Right.
I don't know about you guys. What's the first thing comes to mind when you see cigars in bundles,
Cheap, inexpensive, budget. I mean,
right?
yeah,
Inexpensive or budget, and I think
Right.
that's the hard. I think that's the hard sell.
Yeah.
That is
Right.
truly the hard
because
sell.
because they're really not. They're really not.
Right.
But that's the first impression that you get.
So so all this goes through my mind, right? I go, how do I take that gamble with the company? Because listen, we know the intricacies of behind the scenes, right? We know
Yeah.
that this cigar here, and I'm just not necessarily protecting this cigar, but I'm just saying that let's say hypothetically is a $10 cigar, right? We
Hmm.
know the Keystone pricing, right?
Hmm.
$2.50,
Hmm.
$5, $10, right? So if this only comes in a cello, and you know what? I wouldn't mind trying it for $10. I'll try it. If it comes in
Right.
a 5-pack, I don't know about me buying a 5-pack on the first try, but I'll buy one stick for $10 to see if I like it. Now,
Right.
what happens when you go and you're beyond that $10, beyond $12,
Right.
and you're in a cello and a bundle? To me, it's a hard sell,
Yeah.
right? And all you can hope for is that people get word about it, because we all know word of mouth is your best advertisement, right? But how
Right.
do you get your cigar into somebody's hands so they can try it? Not just locally, around.
Yeah.
To really, so that down the road you could go, you know what? I'm willing to eat up the difference for the box, right? I'll take that loss.
Right. Well,
So
you look at you. No, I apologize.
mm,
You look at what every day is a cigar day has done, just with having a box bundle of what is it, 10 and 20. They've done a great job at marketing that particular stick, just without a middleman,
yeah,
and
well, that's
that's
because of that,
those
though,
sticks
right?
sell big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing I think with he's very unique in a sense because he's not retail. He's not at the retail
Hmm.
store, so he could afford to undercut. Or not, I don't say undercut, but he could do Keystone pricing for himself and make
Yeah.
his money, right? Because he's
Right.
direct to consumer. He's direct to consumer.
And
And
that's
yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think Andreas, he's got great product too.
oh,
But go on, sorry, go ahead, JJ.
also, and that's what I like about what they did with this sampler with the Big Sky. It's simple. On the back, it tells you the whole story and it tells you everything about the cigar. the whole blend makeup, the size, and I think that was very smart. I think that was a really good move on there. In the Montana cigar story, you get a little bit of insight in what to expect from the cigar.
Right.
You like, because they only have one cigar from the Dominican Republic, but you see everything on here's from Nicaragua. Be like, dude, I love Dominican. Well, you're more often to, but like, I'll buy the sampler because I want to try that Dominican cigar. I just think it was smart.
I mean, and that's and that's how, right? You got to find ways to cut costs.
Yeah.
That it's you can still make your profit, but without, going overboard, that the consumer at the very end, because we're the ones that pay the ultimate bottom dollar, the bottom line. We pay the most.
A nice butcher paper.
Woo. Yeah. Yes, sir. That's that foundation, baby.
And I think as long you have to make it where at least catches the eye. It can't just be plain Jane cello.
Right.
But if you can make it pop, even with the butcher paper, it's butcher paper with 2 pieces of cardboard on the inside. But if you can still make it appealing, somebody's gonna buy it.
Well, that's just like the idea you threw at us a few months ago on a couple of podcasts that we did. What about wrapping cigars in cigar paper? I mean, in newspapers. And I went into my brick and mortar, my lounge, and lo and behold, they got a stick that's wrapped in newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stop buying that stick. And now that I've turned my wife onto it, she's like, she can't stop buying this stick. And I'm like, I didn't convince her. She liked the fact that it's wrapped and it's a great cigar.
Mm-hmm.
These things appeal to people in ways just like the Big Sky. That box appealed to me because I can learn about the sticks that I have. So even if somebody walk up on me, I can still just quote the box.
Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, marketing obviously is so huge.
Mm-hmm.
Marketing, boots on the ground, word of mouth. You got to be willing to go out there and take the distance. Whiskey Law, what's going on, brother?
And if I could do that every day for these 2 brands, I absolutely would. If it was sustainable at the point, if I can get to the point of it being sustainable, which wouldn't be hard, but that takes time.
Right.
You got to win all these, these shop owners' trust. Space has to make the money. They're not just going to put a random cigar in there. But if I could travel 250, 300 days, I think I could probably do that now. I think I love it that much at this point. It's just getting to that point.
And that's the whole thing, right? To me, you got to come up with a strategy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to know your product, and you got to figure out how you can market their product or the product that you're selling, so that it's appealing, right? So you got to come up almost with like a skit, right? Like some type of, and it's the truth, right? You got to come up with some type of skit, some type of line, something that people can relate to, Right. And I think, the most important aspect of it is like, you go to these lounges, but don't, you can't go right after the owner or the tobacconist and stuff like that, because then they're gonna feel used. Oh, you just here trying to make, buy some of your cigars. No. I'm here to spend my own money on the cigars that you already have there. And if you have a bar, I'm going to buy a couple of drinks, and I'm going to support you because at the end of the day, this is what it's about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think, like I said, it's hard now, especially that everything's gone up in price, because even, you get a cigar for $4, you're talking about 4, 8, 16, right? And it's hard. It's just hard for you to get below that. And is it possible? Of course. But what kind of quality of a cigar product are you going to put out there?
Yeah.
So it's just, you got to take the good with the bad. But the problem is that the bad is really bad.
Yeah, because especially when nobody's ever heard of you and you have a cigar that costs the same as a Liga 9 Bellicoso. That's a renowned, beautiful cigar. It's a hard sell. when you know what you can get for that price.
And once you start passing $12 a stick, you know what I mean? That scale starts tipping. You know, it just does. Yeah, and then the high, the 12, 14, $16 it's hard. You really got to build that product really hard.
And I say this with a grain of salt because the individual I'm talking about has been in the industry a long time, but he started his own company, and I'm talking, my favorite cigar, the West Tampa Red. I was getting that cigar for $8, anywhere from $8 to $10. It's my favorite cigar. And now he comes out with this, the new cigar, and it's pricey. I mean, it's up there. But you know what? I've smoked enough West Tampa cigars now. I know that it's a quality product, and now I'm willing to spend a little bit more money on his higher end cigar, thinking, well, if the $8 cigar is this good, the $25 cigar must be out of this world, and that's not always the truth. It's not always the truth, but that's the mindset, when you're thinking about it. Like, I've smoked your $8 stuff, I've smoked your $10 stuff. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I'll take a chance.
He's a very unique individual, right? Because he was in the industry for 24 years. Oh, nice.
The grandkids, and led the wife to drink.
It's hilarious.
No, go ahead. I apologize, man.
It's all right. So, the thing is, like, if I was in his shoes, I would have done the same damn thing, right? Built on my own reputation that I've already built. I know where to go to get my
right.
And start off smart. You don't want to start off with a $20 cigar, despite people know who you are, but they don't know the product you're going to produce.
Yeah.
And start right at the $8 to $10 mark. But he's always been I should say always, but I think since he started, 2023 is when he started, right? And he had those luxuries going to these factories because he knows them, because he's dealt with them for so many years.
Yeah.
So you know what? There's nothing wrong. Listen, man, I take my hat off to the man, because if I had those hookups and those connections like that, hell, I'll do the same damn thing.
And because he's rolled some of our favorite cigars before we knew he blended them.
Right.
And so, he's a genius, and and he's let his daughter take the reins a lot, and she's crushing it out there. So they're getting bigger by the second, and it's nice to watch them grow.
And I think they grew really fast, and I think he's one of those, like that expression. They created a juggernaut, right?
Absolutely.
Now that momentum. So now, how do you continue that momentum, right? And because Rick shared with us, he's in his 60s now, right?
Yeah.
Because is he going to still have that energy to obviously in the beginning you are the face of that company. You are the man. Everybody wants to meet you. And there's nothing to say about his daughter, because he has a young, his daughter's very, very pretty and stuff like that. And and people gravitate to her, and that's fine.
Right.
As you guys know, right? I don't know. I can't speak for you guys. I speak for myself. But it's nice. Okay, it's nice to meet the person that's going to be taking over down the road.
Absolutely.
But it's always nicer to meet the person that started it.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Yeah. But I gotta ask the question. When did that particular person outpace being a boutique cigar, because that stick was selling so good and so fast? Like you say, he was a juggernaut. Did he even fit into the boutique category?
I think he does still. Do I see that in the next 5 years? Nope. All I can hope for is that he keeps the prices at the price point that he's at. Obviously not as low, because we all expect prices to go up. But you kind of hate to remember, damn, I remember I used to get the stick for $8. Now it's $15 now, it's
right.
like, and then the problem with that is, like, you end up getting new companies, and it enthusiasts like myself that are willing to try it, and it's $12, and it's a really good stick for $12. Guess what? I'm gonna buy the $12 stick, at least for the time being, right? You know, I mean, it's just like I said, everybody's always looking to save a penny here and there. So, but before we continue on this conversation, JJ, where you at with that stick? And what do you think?
Actually, and honestly, I'm gonna have to buy. I'm gonna buy a handful more of these. I definitely want to try their Maduro. The Habano's hitting.
Yeah. So you could go on their website. You could go to the smoking website. So Don,
spice. It's been nice.
Yeah, spicy, nice. So Don, how's that third stick? What happened? What happened? What? You didn't even tell us what you just read. Hey, look, that's his second stick, guys, and he's already almost done with that one.
This was a shorty though. This was the
Churchill shorty. Yeah.
No. This was the Mark Twain the pen.
I had that this morning for breakfast.
Yeah,
so good.
You can't go wrong with that. I mean, listen, it's not gonna blow your mind and this and that, but
that's
to me, it's good. I love that with my coffee in the morning, and that's what I had it. You know, so I just absolutely love it. Coffee, sneakers, and water. There you go. How about you, PC? Are you on your first stick still or your second?
I'm still on my first stick, man, but I'm taking my time. I should have brought two out here, else I would have been finished with this one.
Yeah, no, I still got a lot to go, man. Look at this, man. I'm doing more talking than smoking. I get it. So on this, it's funny. So the green tea has gone away from me. Yeah, I don't taste green tea anymore. But you can taste the candela. It's a little earthy, you know. But the retro is freaking phenomenal.
Well, I got to ask a question. How important is it for those sticks to transition? I'd rather smoke a stick that transitions versus it could be a good stick and just have the same throughout the entire stick. I'd rather for a stick to transition because, like, when I started this one, it was a lot of pepper on the front end of it, just straight off the light. Now it's so smooth, I'm into the stick, so I'm expecting a little bit more spice at the end of the stick.
Yeah, you guys want to take that? I already know my answer to that. You know,
to me, and kind of like what you said, PC. I don't mind a linear cigar as long as it's a good cigar that keeps me interested.
Right.
But I definitely I like when a cigar can transition and taste my turn my taste buds upside down and be like, oh damn, I didn't expect that. And I think with the barber pole like that, I think you're definitely going to get a good transitions and some good complexity. And what's crazy to me to think somebody who rolls that cigar, you have to roll that cigar the same ratio, the same way each and every time. That's a master roller right there.
Because there's three blends, there's three tobacco here.
Because you put that leaf a quarter inch to the right, it's different.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I think that's awesome. I think that's a beautiful cigar.
What do you think, Don?
So I actually smoked that barber pole that you have late last week, and I really enjoyed it. And what you just said, I think we were on Discord when I was smoking it, and I was saying I retrohaled every puff on that one because it was, some of the retrohales you get and they burn your nose, and you're like, okay, I'll retrohale every now and again, just to get the flavor. On that one, I could retrohale every puff. So I really enjoyed that one. Speaking of honeybee cigars, you and I have now smoked all the same three. The first one was the Monarch, and that one it was a good cigar. It was very linear though. It was very one-dimensional. I smoked that one second, and I was like, okay, this one caught my interest a little more. And then I smoked the King's Reserve, which was a pretty complex cigar for a one leaf, one cigar. I know it's not one leaf, but you know what I mean. No barber pole, and I really enjoyed it. But my favorite so far has been that barber pole from their line, and that's what I was saying earlier about you're gonna like a cigar that I don't like. I'm gonna like a cigar that you don't like. I might. It's not even that you don't like it. I'm gonna like a cigar maybe more than you did on a certain degree, or like I said, that Monarch, it wasn't That's not a cigar that I would go. I got to go get a box of these. This is phenomenal. You know, it was a good cigar. I had no problem with it. It burned perfect. Did all that good, everything that you want out of the cigar, but it just wasn't that. You know, just didn't blow me out of the water.
Yeah, and I agree with you. So this you're getting a lot of transition. I mean, and it's going back and forth, back and forth. I wish that the green tea would stay a little bit longer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I really enjoy green tea. But I've been retroing since I started this. You know, at least some of it. You know, but pretty much every drag, I always retro it one form or another. But you get a little hint of some spice. I'd say something sweet. I don't know what it is, but there's something a little sweet in it. But it's a great steak. But I agree. If I have my choice between a cigar that's going to transition to something like this or a puro, I'd rather go through this. But also to what JJ said, depending on what tobacco leaf it is, right?
Yes.
Because we all had the knuckle sandwich puro, right? From Espinosa.
Right.
I thought it was a great smoke for being a puro.
Yep.
You know, it had that spice, that pepper, you know, that punch in the mouth. Yeah, I mean, mind you, by the time you get to the end of the last third, you're like, okay, you kind of wish, you know, that there was something that changed a little bit. But you know you're smoking a puro, so you can't, you know, there shouldn't be any expectations, right? Other than what the hell you start. What you can hope for in any puro or in any cigar in general is that in the last third, it don't become bitter. Because there's nothing worse than a cigar at the end that you enjoyed it and then it becomes very bitter. You know, that's just hard. It's just like it kind of almost ruins the experience for me, anyways.
Right.
You know.
Right.
That happened that happened to a friend of mine. We were talking cigars one day, and he was talking about. I don't mind saying it because it's a good cigar. And he was smoking the EP Carrillo, the Pledge, and he said the first half of that cigar, he was blown away, like, "Oh my gosh, this is the best cigar!" And then it got bitter on him, at the end. And he was like, it just kind of ruined it for me. You know, that was so good at the beginning, and then it didn't transition into something that he liked. You know, so
it could have been the tobacco. You know that
it could have been because I've smoked a Pledge and I enjoyed it all the way through.
Yeah, so, I like the Pledge better than the Allegiance, and the Allegiance is pretty good too. You know, but yeah, you know, I agree, man. But how about you? What? So you like the transition over one-dimensional cigar?
I like the transition, you know, but this morning, you know, I got one of my favorite sticks that is kind of hard to find, which is the blue cheese by AJ Fernandez. From the time you like you like that stick all the way through, it does not transition, but it does not disappoint all the way to the nub. And you know, but if I had a choice, I'd rather have a stick that transitions. You know.
That blue cheese was good. I enjoyed that thing. Smoked it for the first time 2 weeks ago.
I've never had one of those.
Yeah, that's the one with the $100 bill, the dollar bill.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, that's the reason for the blue cheese, because the $100 bill is a blue screen.
I almost didn't buy that cigar because I hate blue cheese, like dressing and all that. So I almost didn't buy it, but my tobacconist talked to me. He's like, "It has nothing to do with blue cheese dressing. Just try it." You know, so I did. It was a good cigar.
JJ, I'll be the first to tell you. I'll go get you one so that you can have it, and I'll send it to you.
Well, thank you. But it's like this bitter root. A lot of people pick it up and put it down because, like, is it bitter? No.
Right.
It's named after the Bitterroot Valley, where one of the owners is from.
Yeah. See, and that's another thing, right? Your marketing, because that's part of your marketing. I mean, and you hate to say it, but how many sales did they lose just because of the name? You know, and that's right. Because if you don't have a tobacconist that's knowledgeable in that cigar, be like, no. This is the reason why they call it, because the owner is from that area in Montana. You know, give them the backstory to the name. You know, so yeah, but it's unreal. It is unreal. But look.
Hey, my son and my daughter-in-law just showed up.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on?
My people.
Hi.
They say hello. Yeah. So, but yeah, you know, and that's the thing, man. I think about, you know, when we buy certain sticks, man, I wanted to transition. Certain sticks I buy just for the long smoke, and the blue cheese for me, man, would be that smoke that I would take my time, put myself in a closed environment, don't want to talk about nothing, and just lose my mind and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I was very well impressed with that cigar. That was given to me by Manny from the
Hmm.
lounge, the new employee from the lounge.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to hunt these down because they're worth. I don't know what the price point on those are. You know.
Well, from what I see online, the average stick gonna probably run you about $11. I got it for 12 at the brick and mortar, but the box itself is gonna cost you a little bit online. I don't mind because it's such a good stick, and like I said, I'm a huge AJ Fernandez fan or whatever, but I'll pay the box price for that box.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it'll most definitely be top shelf. I wouldn't smoke them every day.
Well, guys, it's been on pretty much an hour. Uh, before we cut loose, before we end this show right now, I want to thank our sponsors, El Guapos, thegodfather.com, and of course, Burn One Cigar Bar, my local lounge that I'm like part of the furniture. And you got that beautiful beat footage?
I got her.
Let's roll it, baby. What's going on, guys? This is your boy Panda, and your boy Panda has some great news. We have teamed up with Burn One Cigar Bar, located at 7328 Royal Palm Boulevard in Margate, Florida. Guys, Burn One Cigar Bar is your go-to destination for the finest selections of premium cigars at unbeatable prices. Step into a world of luxury and relaxation as you indulge in the smooth flavors and exquisite aromas of our carefully curated cigars collection. But that's not all. Burn One Cigar Bar has teamed up with us for an exclusive sponsorship opportunity just for you. When you call Burn One and purchase any box of cigars, you unlock a fantastic discount of 20% of your order using special discount code PANDA. You can contact Burn One at 954-970-0001 or on their social media pages, Facebook and or Instagram. Guys, don't miss this chance to elevate your cigar experience without breaking the bank. Visit Burn One Cigar Bar today, mention discount code PANDA, and treat yourself to premium cigars at incredible value. Hurry up, this offer won't last. Burn One Cigar Bar, where luxury meets affordability. And they ship nationwide. Peace.
Exquisite environment. Exquisite environment.
Yeah, these guys
Hey,
are kind of busted.
Don, that cigar you started off, was that a feral flying pig?
It was a flying pig.
Just a flying pig?
Yeah.
The feral pig is the longer
I didn't get that one either.
Because what I'm going to do on a lot of these episodes, when we're all smoking something different, I at least want to put like an insert showing what we all smoked during the episode. I think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, guys, make sure you watch us. We'll be live on YouTube and Facebook this coming Wednesday. It'll be 7 Central, 8 Eastern. We'll be having Hayes, Gray, Rue, Pedro, and Val with us live. So come and chop it up, share it, and let everybody know that we'll be out there. Oh, I like that little thing. I like that. Look at that. So, guys, if you like what you see, once again, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, hit that all notification bell. So anytime we go live, you get notified. You can chop it up with us. So we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Peace. And we